G'day, ZiggyD here with another Path of Exile gearing guide. As you can see, I've just been doing a little bit of fishing here in Act 3, and I decided it was time to start talking a little bit about the chest pieces, the chest armor. Now, chest armor is by far the most basic item slot in terms of mods. So the mods you can roll are very basic. They're all round just defensive stats, and there's really not too much choice or decision making to be made. You just want, the basic essentials, which I'll go over. However, what separates the chest piece from other pieces of armor is that it is by far your most important defensive piece. So, this is an armor piece. It has 400 base armor with the quality bonus, and that is like much more than what you could possibly even get with the best mod rolls on your boots and gloves and things like that. So it comprises a huge percentage of your actual defensive values, and that includes energy shield, which if you're a CI character could even be your life. So your chest piece is even more important. But even more important than that, if that's even possible, is that the chest is one of two places that you can get 5 or 6 links. So as you can see here, I've got a 5 link chest piece, and that is super important. Any extra supports that you can put on your skill can give them a ton more utility, can give them a ton more damage. So as you see here, I'm running a 5 link frenzy, and I'm using life gain on hit. So if I had the 4 link, I would have to make a decision on whether I wanted that life gain on hit or whether I wanted that added fire damage. So I'd lose either out on a lot of damage, or I'd lose out on the utility and the survivability of life gain on hit. So that's super important. The only other place you can get 5 or 6 links is on a two-handed weapon, and not all builds use two-handed weapons. In fact, I would say more builds use one-handed weapons or dual-wield one-handed weapons, which of course have a maximum amount of links of 3. So if you're using a one-handed weapon in your build, then you're pretty much stuck with getting your 5 and 6 link if you need that on your chest piece, which most builds by end game will need that. So that's super important. But now let's go take a look at the mods. As I said, they are fairly basic, but they're still worth going over, and I'll put the text up on screen like I usually do. So in terms of prefixes, you have max life, max mana, your local energy shield evasion armor flat bonus, your local evasion energy shield armor % bonus, and then the same thing in a smaller amount with the stun recovery bonus. So that's the combined stat there. And then the one that's sort of different to other slots is that you also have physical damage returned to attackers, aka thorns. So that's a very niche stat, probably one of the least popular stats in the game, but there's some builds that do use thorns, and maybe in the future with certain skills thorns will become even more popular. But the chest piece is one big place to get thorns if you are for some reason making a thorns build. In terms of suffixes, you have intelligence, dexterity, and strength, depending on the armor piece. There's no specific armor pieces that have any of those. It's just armor gives you strength, dexterity from your evasion gear, and intelligence from your energy shield gear, and then the combined ones obviously have a chance of rolling either one of those. So pretty basic standard sort of stuff there. Then you have your 4 different resists: chaos, cold, fire, lightning, and life regen and stun recovery. So as I said, extremely basic, like even more basic than boots, even more, and they only had really move speed that made them a bit more complicated. So very simple. So what is valuable in terms of chest pieces? Because that's a question a lot of people ask me in gear in general. How do I know if I've found something that's worth a lot? Well, basically you can find a white chest piece that has 5 links or 6 links, or sometimes 6 sockets if it's like a high level chest piece that's popular to use. And if you find your 5 or 6 link or 6 socket in one of those types, that is very valuable, even as a white item or a magic item. So they can be worth multiple GCP on hardcore at the moment. Again, I don't want to mention values too much because they can change a lot over time. But it's safe to say that there's always going to be very high demand for 5 and 6 link items because they're rare, and they're also extremely useful, and they often make builds, like they're an important integral part of the build. So if you find a white 5 link on the ground, or even in a vendor like I did this one, I actually found this in a vendor, then you've found something that's actually worth quite a bit. So what about your ideal magic item? So obviously you can have like a 4 or 5 or 6 links is always good to have, but in terms of your prefixes, you want life or the energy shield armor evasion % or flat bonus. So on a chest piece you can roll up to something like 400 additional armor as the flat bonus. So that almost that'll almost double a lot of different armor types, but you can also roll like 100% increased armor bonus, which can increase it even further. So either one of those is really okay, but otherwise life is always good. You can roll over 100 life on chest pieces, which makes up quite a lot once you multiply it out. And then in terms of your suffix on your magic items, one of the resists, pretty basic stuff. Your rares are fairly similar. You just want life, and then a double evasion energy shield armor combined roll. So you want the flat bonus and the percent bonus. The percent and stun bonus is sometimes something you can sub in or out for life, I think, but mostly you want those two really good ones because they multiply together as well. So if you get 400 extra armor and then a 100% bonus, you're multiplying that 400 extra armor out as again, and you can get a ton of armor, which is going to make you very defensively strong. So that's very good there. And in terms of suffixes on your chest piece, you really just want trifecta resists. You want 3 different resists that you need. So chaos, lightning, fire, something like that. Pretty basic stuff. Overall, the main important parts to know about chest pieces are that you can get those 5 and 6 links on them, and sometimes 6 sockets are worth a fair bit. Even if you get a 6 socket that's not a very good base item type, like maybe it's an arena plate like this, which aren't really worth that much. If you get a 6 socket in that, you can vendor that for your 7 Jeweler's Orbs, so they're at least worth 7 Jeweler's Orbs. So hopefully this has helped you guys out with chests. In the next video I think I'm going to be covering helmets. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.